Hello, and welcome to MrDudeManSir. And welcome to the third installment of the Journey to Ngoro expansion card review. I did a card review of the cards previously before the Bahamas, knowing that there would be quite a few cards coming out at the Bahamas stream. And that's what I'll be recording right now. So, to start off, we have a 3-mana 3/3 Priest card that draws a specific card out of your opponent's deck, right? The only downside is that you might not actually get the card. I would generally say that when you look at 3 cards, it'll be cards that are of your opponent's class, because it'll be pretty easy to say that, hey, you shouldn't have this card because it's not of your class. So if you can actually figure out which card is in your opponent's deck, which is going to reward you for just knowing the meta decks, and this helps counter meta decks, then hey, that's pretty cool. Could you just imagine when I'm playing my priest deck, he plays this in turn 3 against me, sees like Mind Blast and like Velen and stuff, and he'd be like, you can't have those cards, and then he picks like Shifting Shade or something, and it turns out that he was wrong, because I actually probably would play a Mind Blast Velen priest. So this card is actually really good because it's better than draw a card in the sense that you can actually get cards from your opponent's class, and you draw a card that they put specifically into their deck. So you're drawing a constructed level card. Of course, that could be bad against combo decks. Like if you get a prep, I mean that's not the best thing because only one of the cards. Like when you play this card, you're only ever going to draw one specific card, just whether or not you draw it or not. You pick the right one. And so there's a high chance that you might get prep or like some dinky bad spell or minion that you don't really want to play. But either way, this card has insane value. I'm just wondering if it'll fit in over the other 3 drops that are going to be in Priest, like the already Talon Priest and the next 3-drop Priest card that's going to be coming out. Alright. So, in the stream, this was kind of like their selling point card, another adapt card. So, it's a 7-mana 5/6 that adapts twice, basically. I'm not sure why they decided to say Battlecry adapt, then adapt. Maybe the text will have some sort of relevance for cards that come in the future. And this, if I were to make an assumption, I'd say yes, because of the way that this is worded. It's also worth noting that everyone will start with this card. I'm not sure if you get 2 of them, but I'm pretty sure that you will get a golden version of at least 1 Volcanosaur just for logging in or maybe opening your first pack, sort of like Cthulhu was. So everyone was going to be happy with probably 100 dust, or maybe there will be adapt decks and Volcanosaur will be in it. If you get the +3 attack and then +3 health, which is probably the most stats you're going to get, this thing's an 8/9 for 7, which obviously is just a hunk of stats. But how cool would it be to have a 5/9 with taunt? You know, it's like Sogoth, but for 2 less mana. I'd say if there's synergistic cards around this, it's a kind of a good card because you can get taunt and end something else. But then the stats are just too weak, you know. So I'd say this card probably isn't going to see play because it costs too much mana. It's too slow. Alright, so one of my favorite cards that have been revealed, other than, you know, like all the other cool ones that I've talked about, gluttonous ooze exists now. They tried making toxic sewer ooze, the 3-mana 4/3 that takes 1 durability off the weapon, but then they realized the upgrades and more than 1 durability weapons exist, and so it never saw play. And also weapon decks weren't countered hard enough from just destroying their weapon because they just put another weapon up. This card, however, only costs 1 more than ooze, and it has a extreme upside from ooze to play it. It's a little bit worse than if you were to play this without getting a weapon, because a 2-mana 3/2 is better than a 3-mana 3/3 generally, because it's less mana and still deals 3 damage. But being able to gain armor equal to the weapon's attack, while also completely destroying it, is incredible. So it's a heal in the late game of a warrior, you know, about to kill you. Then you destroy the weapon and gain like 7 life from an upgraded twice Arcanite Reaper, you know? That'll just instantly win you the game. And that's what cards Like, this is a hate card, and that's what hate cards need to do, is be able to completely end the game if it triggers on a really powerful thing. I mean, you could ooze the Arcanite Reaper, then they just play another one, with, like, the acidic swamp ooze. But if you ooze the Arcanite Reaper, the gluttonous ooze, you sort of destroy it, and then you heal enough armor for another Arcanite Reaper swipe. So it's kind of like taking a charge off the Arcanite Reaper before, like, the next Arcanite Reaper before it even comes into play, which is pretty good. I think this card will see play over Harrison, maybe. Maybe they just run all three acidic swamp ooze, this one, and then Harrison. I'm not sure if you run, like, acidic swamp ooze over gluttonous ooze, if, like, you only wanted one effect of it. It probably depend on the meta, but gluttonous ooze would probably be my pick. Alright, so they said that, like, the game creators said that secrets are not going to be the focus of Un'Goro. However, they did give mages a secret anyway. Previously, again, as I've mentioned with other cards that they've printed so far, the downsides of secrets were that they didn't do enough for how much, like, a card. It wasn't worth a card. Even if it cost 0, it wasn't worth a card because it didn't really do anything. However, this card is going to guarantee that you draw a card, and it's a spell that will now cost 0. And really, secrets with the new synergies and stuff will most likely cost 0. Because you have 4 activators for being able to discount secrets down to 0, as well as being able to draw secrets. So if secret decks actually work, this will definitely see play, because mages already have combos with spells and stuff. And being able to generate value out of 0 mana cards is pretty good. I think, you know, this is going to be a staple in every single mage secret deck, if that ever exists. If not, maybe it'll see play as a one-of in a control mage, because it's possibly worse, like, for your opponent to play around than counterspell, because your opponent also gets a copy. But in other situations, it's probably better than, it's, like, hard to evaluate compared to counterspell. But it'll definitely mix your opponent up, and it'll be fun to watch people misplay over this card. Alright. The next one is a Rogue Epic. It's a 5-mana 3/4, and the battle cry is to destroy a minion. If it's a combo, not a battle cry. They're different. So 5 mana, destroy a minion already exists for Rogue. It's called Assassinate. And if you get a 3/4 body on top of that, that is insane value. And plus, with the new abilities of rogues wanting to copy certain cards, maybe you want to shadow step this thing, and then it'll be a 3-mana 3/4 destroy a minion, and then you also get your quest complete, and then you can shadow caster it and stuff like that, and it's a 1-mana 3/4 destroy a minion. Actually, 1-mana 1/1, I mean. It's a little bit slow, but then again, a lot of rogue stuff are pretty slow that they want, or that they are pushing. And they already have a bunch of 5-drops that they want to play, with Shadowcaster already being one of them. So, if rogues end up getting a heal card, I would love to say Control Rogue would be a thing. Or a taunt. Like, they just need a heal or a taunt, and then they will be completely good, because they have more value than any other class, right? They are the only class that can generate infinite value out of Shadowcasters. Like, Mage used to generate infinite value with, like, Archmage Intonitus, Echo of Medivh, and Sorcerer Apprentice shenanigans, but now Rogue can just spam a bunch of 1/1 Shadowcasters and stuff, which is pretty neat. If Rogue gets taunt and heals, I would love to see a Control Rogue, like a N'Zoth Rogue, but more likely this card won't see play, and it will just be an aggro deck or mid-range miracle like it already is. So I'd probably rate this card pretty bad. Because, I mean, Kidnapper is a similar thing. Obviously it costs 1 more mana, has 1 more stat, but has 3 health instead. And it's a sap, it doesn't destroy. So it's kind of the same, because a sap is similar to destroying a minion, not really. But Kidnapper never really saw play because it costs too much mana. And though Vile Spine Slayer looks like a really good value card, it probably won't see play either. A Druid card, which is very, very hard to review, is Living Mana. from the stream, the reveal stream they're doing, how it works is you actually take your maximum mana crystals and you put them onto the board. So if you play this on an empty board for 5 mana and you have 10 mana, it'll summon 7 2/2s, and your mana crystals will go back down to 3. So if you get Mass Dispelled or Devolved, you're going to lose the game. However, if that's not the case, you just played a 5 mana 14/14 and you have 3 mana to do whatever with. Is that good enough? I'm not sure. You can't even exploit this by being able to play like maybe 20 mana in one turn, because then again you still don't have the maximum mana. And when they die, they come back as full mana crystals, but then again you still only have 10 mana to spend in the turn. So I'm not sure if this card will actually see play. Maybe it'll see play in a Token Druid. Token Druids do need good token cards. They have the Mark of the Lotus and stuff like that to work with now. They also can probably play Soul of the Forest with Living Mana on the same turn. And then have, 7 mana 28/28. And that's really hard to remove. So I'm not sure if this is actually a good card. If I were to say a certain thing, I'd say it's a bad card and is equal to 100 dust whenever you open it. Alright, so Priests are getting some of the most OP cards of this set, with a 1 mana card that draws a card into Mirage Caller if you coin it out, is going to be insane. So why is this card more insane than it even looks? So it looks just like a mini Barnes, right? However, with the new, I think they're trying to make Priests a mid-range deck, which I really don't like. But I mean, I guess that's how you have to build a deck that wants to go to the super late game. You have to make it mid-range so it doesn't die to the early game. But being a mid-range deck with a quest that's able to summon 7 Death Rattles, and without having to draw 7 cards, you can just play Battle Cry of this dude, and that counts as 1 for your quest if you target a Death Rattle with it. So this card and all the other cards that Priests have is gonna make it to where you'll have, you'll be able to get the Death Rattles activated and your quest complete probably far before turn 10. And if aggro decks are going to be much slower than they are currently, you'll probably get to turn 10 in an aggro deck, and the moment you play the 5 mana 8/8 taunt to set your health to 40, they're just gonna concede. It's worse than Reno, because it has better stats than Reno, and your health is more. So I'm probably going to get angry by Priests. I want Priests as being a happy medium, but it seems like they're trying to make them so aggressively Death Rattle-ish that it's going to be very annoying. It's good to note that the Death Rattle minions that they're printing for Priests is just value-oriented instead of, Death Rattle summon something like Haunted Creeper. So they're not going to be sticky, they're just going to be having way too much value than you. So maybe Priests will stay as their theme is and be an anti-control deck. But then again, they're going to be so mid-rangey with, a 4 mana taunt, a 3 mana this dude that you can play on curve. If they get a 2-drop, it's going to be Curve Stone for Priests. And they already have a quest that they want to play on turn 1 every single time. So their 2-drop could just be playing 2 of those Oracle Crystal things, right? And then play this on it. And then they have 3 of their quests already complete into a 4 mana taunt. And on turn 4, you have 4 of your things complete, right? That's just insane. Not only that, but you also am going to get the Death Rattle of the taunt to activate. And then you have 3 1/1s that draw you a card from your opponent's deck. It's just, I don't know. I can't even handle how much Death Rattle funds these Priests are going to have. Alright. So, you have Corruption. It's a 1 mana card that destroys a minion at the start of the next turn. And that was seeing some play in order to counter the Totem Golems and 4 mana 7/7s and stuff. And Tunnel Trogs. Make that 1 more mana and make it be a board clear. So this is the 2-mana Twisting Nether, right? For some reason, whenever I saw, like, there's a 1 to 5 star rating of each of the cards in, like, some forum, this card was like a 3, and that was, like, the lowest card on it out of the new Bahamas cards. So a bunch of people think this card is complete trash. However, I'm here to say that this is a 2-mana Twisting Nether that will stop aggro decks, and if Totem Golem were still here, he would be shimmering in his wooden pants, because this would completely destroy him. Whether or not it'll still be good, it's probably a meta card. If there's going to be a bunch of mid-range decks, this card is going to completely destroy them before they could even realize what's been happening. If there's super aggro, I'm not sure if this is going to be the case unless they still run mid-range minions. This is just good against mid-range minions, so it's not going to be that good against control unless you want to take like 8 damage, then play 2-mana Corrupting Mist from on like a big dude. So it's not completely dead in the control matchup, but this is definitely like a mid-range card. And you don't want to play it when you have your own minions on the board, because they kill them as well. I'm here to say, though, that this is a very good card, and that when the person that's smart realizes that it's a mid-range meta, they should play Warlock with Corrupting Mist, and they will completely destroy the meta. Alright, so Paladins are actually getting mid-rangey cards. 1-mana summon 2 1/1s, and they're Silverhand Recruits, so maybe we'll get some synergy with that in the future, but even without it, I'm not sure how it's going to work, but it's pretty good. It's a spell, so I mean, you're not really going to play it with hand buffs, so it's going to be its own form of mid-range Paladin. However, if you think of it in straight value, Stand Against Darkness summons 5 mana for 5 1/1s, so this is sort of getting double value, because this is 1 mana for 2 instead of 1 mana for each in Stand Against Darkness. We already have certain buff cards, like maybe they'll want to run the Lance Carrier and like Abusive Sergeants and stuff. And also this is pretty good with the 3-mana 3/3 thing that gives them all Divine Shield. Just a pretty good average mid-range card. If they get a few more cards like these in the 2 and 3 mana slots, mid-range Paladin is going to be so much fun again. Alright, so Warriors are getting Molten Blade. So you don't look at the mana cost and you don't look at the durability. What you look at is the text here. It is a Shifting Xeris for weapons. So each turn, this is in your hand, it transforms into a new weapon. So you can't play it. It's not like, when I first read it, I thought in your hand meant, equipped. But no, this is like sitting in your hand. It's a very valuable card. Like, it can be anything. Though the downside of Shifting Xeris is that there's so many possibilities, and a lot of them are bad. And waiting for a possibility of it being average or okay is not worth it sitting in your hand for so long. So I'd have to say that this card is pretty bad. However, it is worth to say that if you buff this in your hand, say with Hobart or some other thing, the buffs, if it works similar to Shifting Xeris, will travel over to each weapon that this shifts into. If that's not the case, it'll be significantly worse. However, if it is the case, it will have some sort of niche space to work in. However, I'll still say this card is trash. In Arena, this is really good, though, because a weapon that can be early game or late game is really good. Alright, so Hunters have gotten their quest, and last review, I reviewed a 5-mana 3/5 that drew 2 1-drop cards from your deck, and I rated that completely terrible because you'd want to play Savannah Highmane and, Swamp King Dread in the turns following turn 5. And then turn 8, you don't generally have a big drop, so maybe you just want to drop the 2 1-drops that you played. Hopefully you've dropped more. And if you drop at least 2, and then maybe from turn 1 to 4, you played some other 1-drops, but then again, you have a 3-drop, a 4-drop, 5-drop, 6, and 7-drop. So the only time that you'll be able to play 1-drops is turn 1 and 2. And even then, you want to play a 2-drop instead. So this is probably a Face Hunter card, and in Face Hunter, you want to play as little mana cost as possible. You'll probably drop your Hound Masters, you'll probably just play all the 1-cost minions. that you can possibly play. I doubt you'll run that 5 mana 3/5 even then, but when you get this quest off, it gives you Queen Carnassa. And Queen Carnassa is a 5 mana 8/8, as seems to be the standard for quest rewards. And its battle cry is shuffle 15 raptors into your deck. There was a card similar to this in Elder Scrolls Legends. It's a 1 mana 2/1 that shuffles 1 mana 3/3s into your deck, and when you play them, it was a 1 mana 3/3 that draws a card. In this, all 15 raptors are 1 mana 3/2s that draw a card when they come into play. Which is insane. So you can just drop, like, in Face Hunter, you actually have a late game of not only a 5 mana 8/8, but every turn you have a chance of top decking a raptor into raptor and stuff. And so your opponent needs to continually have board clears, or if they don't, they'll probably just die because you're playing a Face Hunter. So this effect is really, really powerful. It adds sustain to Face Hunters. However, it's just whether this quest is being able to be completed in a aggressive fashion. Generally, 1-drops are more cost efficient than any other card mana cost in the game, just because they have to in order to warrant the fact that they cost a card as well. So if hunters get 1 or 2 more really good 1-drop cards, I'd say so. But with the current fiery bats and, you know, the 1 mana 1/1 that summons a 1/1, Ardent Squires, Abusive Sergeants, I'm not sure if that's good enough to make it, but those cards have always seen played in aggro decks, and it wouldn't surprise me if they continued to see play in this deck. So my first instinct is that you would not want to run this in a mid-range hunter, but only in Face Hunter, and if Face Hunter gets more 1-drops, this card will see play. But without that, I would probably say not. Because playing 7 1-cost minions, at that point, like, I tried building a Paladin deck that runs small-time recruits, and it's really hard to get 1 small-time recruits to get off with full value, because not only do you want to keep 1-drops in your hand, but there's just not that many good 1-drops. And you'll probably want to play patches if you're playing pirates and stuff, because those are 1-drops, so then patches will get summoned, not played. So you actually have to play 7 cards. That means you have to have some sort of draw sustain, unlike the Priest quest, where it's just summon. So you could have other cards that manipulate and summon 1-cost, like 1/1s. In this case, you have to play them, you have to draw them and play them. It could be good. I hope so, because 1 mana 3/2 raptors that draw a card are really good. So those were the cards revealed in the Bahamas. With every card reveal, there are questions asking on whether we'll get more and more cards to fit the archetype that they're trying to push. I could only assume that they will do so, and I review these assuming that they will get more. So hopefully we'll see more as time goes on, and whenever there's about 15 more, so I'll probably do another review stream or video. I'm not sure when the next big stream that they're going to do is that reveals the cards, but maybe they'll just do the thing that they've done before and just give streamers and stuff, or people on YouTube, cards to reveal slowly over the week. I hope they do more big reveal streams, but until then, thank you for watching, and goodbye.